Here's what my history teacher taught me about building an engaged audience. I had two history teachers in school. Both delivered the same content, both had very similar experiences and skills and qualifications, and yet I only remember one of those history teachers. And even though they delivered the same subject, one of them was incredibly memorable and stand out. I can remember the lessons like they were yesterday. And the other one I've completely forgotten about. And that's because even though the content was good and valuable, one history teacher had learned how to deliver it in such a way that it was engaging and attention-grabbing for the audience. And one of them had failed to do this, and it made it, well, boring. So in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how you can be like the first history teacher and create memorable, standout content. I'm going to be walking you through a simple 5-step framework called the Content Compass, which teaches you 5 ways to create attention-grabbing content that'll get tons of views and lead to a lot more leads and sales. The first element of Content Compass is making sure your content is captivating. And by that I mean you want it to be engaging. You want someone to stop what they're doing and pay attention to your content. There is a heck of a lot of content out there, even really good, valuable content. So you have to actually do something different to make people pay attention to you. So you can do this by, for example, having a really good killer hook at the start of your content that grabs people's attention. You can tell stories. You can use your tone of voice to come across as different. Perhaps you can become across as sarcastic or funny or witty. All those things help grab your audience's attention. It's about being different to somebody else already out there. Even if what you're saying is essentially the same, the way you package it up can be different. So let's take this video for an example. I could have started this video by saying, here are 5 ways to make your content stand out. But I didn't. I started this video by saying, what have I learned from my history teacher about creating engaging content? That is an example of captivating in content. It's about getting you to stop what you're doing and want to know the answer to the question, well, what is it? What did she learn from a history teacher? And that's exactly what you should be doing in your content all the time. Not to mention that people really love stories. They really love engaging with stories, just sitting down, having a nice coffee, enjoying a story. So make sure, if you can, incorporate stories in your content as well. That is what will really make it captivating. So number 2 is clear. Now, clear and clarity is something that is extremely important when it comes to content, and it's actually something that people get really wrong. And it reminds me of that Einstein quote, if you can't explain something simply, you don't know it well enough. And it's so true, because I come across content all the time that's actually really valuable, but it's so complicated for people to understand that they just move on. So if you're able to break down your topic and explain it as simply as possible, then you are going to capture people's attention. And you can do this in many different ways. You can use similes or metaphors. So for example, when we did website design, we would always say your homepage is like the reception area of your website. It's not there for people to congregate around. It's there to direct people where they need to go. And that's a really good example of a simile that tells people exactly what their homepage should do. It automatically cuts through any complication. It gets people to understand what you're trying to say. Make sure you avoid jargon and use visual aids just like this to help get your point across. Anything that you can do to make your message and your content as clear as possible to your audience means that you're going to cut through any complications, make sure that your audience consumes less brain calories understanding your content, and then they can focus more time on it. A good example of this is Cody Sanchez, who is an expert on finance and business, and she is able to really break down some complex subjects to an extremely large audience, making them understand it in short videos. And this has attributed a lot to her success, because she has been able to cut through all the noise and complication and explain things really clearly. Number 3 is conversion focused. And the biggest mistake people make with their content is that they don't actually have a goal for that piece of content. Every piece of content that you produce should have a particular goal. You should think, okay, this content that I'm creating now should lead to more leads and sales of this product. It should get me more views. It should get me more subscribers. I want more email subscribers. It should lead to something, so that you make sure you're not just producing content for the sake of it. It's actually attributing to your business success. And that's really important when it comes to creating content. Not to mention that people really do want to know what the next step is once they're consuming your content. They want to know when they're reading your blog or listening to your podcast what they should do next. Is it consume more content? Is it find out more about your products and services? Is it sign up to your email list to get your newsletter? Whatever that might be, you have to give someone that next step in the process, even if it's a small step. It means that just making them more of a commitment to you, and eventually that will lead to, well, leads and sales. One of the biggest things we see people do in their content is what we like to call a mousy moment. So they scurry out like a mouse right at the end of their piece of content and go, oh, if you like this, you might want to check out my products and services. They always use the word might. When actually you want to be really strong. You want to have a clear call to action that tells people directly what you want them to do. And you want to use this multiple times. Don't just wait till the end, because people know at the end that you're going to pitch something. Make sure that you have it all the way through your content. So for example, when we write blog posts for either ourselves or our clients, we make sure we have call to actions all the way through that piece of content so that people can make that next step straight away and they're very clear about what that is. Don't wait until the end and don't be shy about it. Number 4 is customer-centric. And what we mean by this is delivering absolute value in your content. When we come to create a piece of content for our clients or for ourselves, we have one question. Is this the best answer to this question on the internet? And we want to say yes every single time we create that content, knowing that it's the best answer to that question. Not necessarily the longest answer or the most in-depth answer, but the best answer. We want to deliver that epic customer service every single time we create a piece of content, and we want to make sure we deliver more value than anyone else. So with this in mind, you're going to have to create content that really steps it up. There is so much valuable content out there, so you need to look at your industry and you need to examine, okay, how can I take this one step further? How can I deliver more? How can I help more and more people? And that will truly make your content stand out if you can do that. So a really good example of a company that do this well are called ScoreApp, a quiz marketing company. And they create tons of valuable content that really help their customers and their potential customers too. Things like giving away free email templates, social media copy, scripts, anything that will really help their customers and goes above and beyond what others in their industry are doing. So what does this mean for you? Essentially, you have to step up the value that you give in your content. You have to think of ways of delivering more and more to your potential customers and customers that prove that you are the standout person in your industry because you're the one delivering this epic content while no one else is. And my personal favorite, number 5, which is courageous. Now, this is the trickiest content to create because you need to be really brave when you hit that publish button on this kind of content. It's things like having your own opinion, even if that goes against what people in your industry say. It's telling vulnerable stories and talking about vulnerable experiences that you've had. It's saying who you are and aren't the right fit for. It's talking about the objections that people may have about working with you. It's doing all of these things that others in your industry shy away from. Essentially, if anyone else is burying their head in the sand and not answering questions around your industry, that's what you want to be talking about. You want to be saying the stuff that no one else dares to say, and that is something that will make your content stand out. I've got 2 really good examples of this. One from an estate agency called Bartlett and Partners, and they produced a piece of content that said, why are our agency fees higher than other estate agencies? A really brave piece of content that highlighted all of the amazing work they do and why they justifiably charge more in fees. Another example is us at Jammy Digital. We created a piece of content that we send to anyone who gets in touch with us about wanting to work with us. And this piece of content is called 10 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Work With Us. And essentially what we're doing there is we're making sure that anyone who does get in touch with us is the right fit before we get onto a call with them. So we only want to work with those who are the right fit for us and make sure that we're not spending our time with the wrong fits and taking them on as clients. The reason that this is brave is that it might turn people off, and it definitely has turned people off. However, they were the wrong people in the first place. What it does do is it makes sure that the right fits even more encouraged and sure they want to work with us because they know that we're not out to make a quick buck out of anyone and everyone. We're selective about who we work with. So remember, the 5 key elements that will make your content a success are captivating, clear, conversion-focused, customer-centric, and courageous. And if you make sure the next time you create content, you can sprinkle some of these elements in there, it will perform so much better for you. So which one of these elements did you like the best? I'd absolutely love to know. Just comment below and let me know. And if you want more videos like this, just hit subscribe and get notified the next time we publish a video.